Good morning, hey, hi, hello, and welcome to this week's Fiberific Live Craft and Chat. I'm running just a teeny bit late this morning. I'm so sorry about that. While I was sick, I decided to turn my alarm off in the morning, and I had forgotten to turn it back on. And even though I'm not getting full night's sleep yet, I actually had a good night's sleep, but did wake up a little later than I would have liked. And then didn't look at the time and just plodded around and just did things. That cord's annoying, isn't it? Let's see if I can just move that out of shot. So how's everybody going? What are you all working on? What is in your cup? I'm that person. I'm a cup gremlin. I have my water. I have my coffee. And I also have my hot water with honey, so that we can keep talking and we can keep chatting throughout this entire stream. Okay, let me have a look. Let's see who's here in the chat. Welcome to everybody who is here. Good morning, Sandy G. It's good to see you. Sally's in the house. Hello, Sally. Knitspin Girl Creations is here. Russell is here. Hey, how are you going, Russell, from sunny Florida? It's summer for you, isn't it? Morning, Bianca. Kelly can see and can hear. Oh, that's great, because I've realized that I was messing with my microphone yesterday, and I just realized, like, the second you said that I hadn't checked it. Because there's some checks I usually do before I go live, and I have not done them. So we are seat of the pants live streaming today. Coffee and Bicky for Sandy G. Sal's got her mocha. Bianca's got coffee. Russell has got his maple walnut ice cream. I need to try this. I've heard you talk about it before, and I need to try it because I like walnuts, I like maple, and I like ice cream. I can't see why I wouldn't like maple walnut ice cream. Good morning, Christina. Great to see you here. Holly has nothing in her cup yet. Holly is another one on the other side of the world. Holly's cup could end up with anything in it. We no idea. It could be anything. Oh, excuse me. Sorry about that. I do need to make sure I've got my little mute button nice and handy so that I can mute when I need to cough. So sorry for coughing in your ears, everybody. Okay. Now, let me just think. I had things to talk about. Sally is celebrating 21 months of membership. That is so awesome. Thank you so much, Sally, for supporting for nearly 2. Well, I know you've been supporting longer than 2 years, but for nearly supporting for 2 years here as a channel member. I can't believe it's nearly 2 years. Wow. Okay. I'm just going to yeah, I'm trying to fix some things on the fly. They're doing my head in a little bit. All right. And now I did realize something last week. We ended on a pink row, and I never actually got into doing the extra row on it. So I am behind, and somehow, I was about to say I've lost the pink, but I've just spotted it. So we can go over there. This one hasn't. Because I'm like, I don't want to go hunting for another end, honestly. Holly is also celebrating 20 months of membership. Thank you, Holly. That is unbelievable. Yeah, Sal, those 2 years really have flown by, haven't they? It's just crazy. It's just crazy. So I'm just going to, I haven't checked this camera angle. It's going to be bad. I'm just warning you now. Is what 2 years is more than a fortnight? Yeah, because fortnight is not really a term used in the US, is it? Whereas in the UK and Australia, we use the term fortnight all the time. So fortnight is 2 weeks. It's 2 weeks. Okay. Yeah, it doesn't seem that long ago, does it? Like, it certainly doesn't feel that long ago to me. All right, let's do this. Let's change this. Wow, that's bright. That's bright. Let's see if we can make that less bright. Logi tune. Here we go. Let's see if we can just... I don't know what we're going to do to fix this. All right. Okay, so let's start with... bringing the brightness down. Nope, not that far. Bring the saturation down a little. Yeah, that's very bright. And do you know what's really frustrating? It's only the pink that's over bright. Yeah, it is. It's definitely too bright. I'm gonna have a play with it. I just need to get this connected. My brain's like, get the yarn on there. Get the yarn on there and then deal with it. Yeah, it's very bright. It's let me just let's see what the good morning, not ye oldie crochet. We're just fixing up this saturation levels of this red just so that it's not glaring and destroying our eye holes. It's so bright. You know, I'll be sad when we finish this blanket for all but one reason, and that is trying to deal with this pink on camera. I'll be very happy to choose a different color that is the main color of something. Is that weird? Is that just me? Okay, so lots of things happening here. Catching up on work. If I have not responded to an email that you sent over the last few weeks, I am getting through them all slowly. While I was sick, I actually had to stop myself from checking my emails because I realized I was replying to some of them with not quite a clear head, which was not clever. So I just had to stop replying. So it is definitely one of those things. Oh, Susanna's changed her display name. Okay. Alrighty. Fair enough. YouTube's going to be rolling out so that whatever the handle is that you've chosen will end up being your display name, and you won't be able to change that in live streams. It's going to be interesting to see if people have checked their handles, if they're anything useful. So my handle is still Fiberific. It's just Fiberific though. It's not Fiberific Chantelle Hills. So we will see how they look when that finishes rolling out. I've started noticing it in some other live streams I'm in when people are really perplexed. Like, that's not the name I had. It's like, but that's your handle, baby. You need to go in and check your handles. Yeah, look, I agree, Knit Spin Girls. I really think the back is just as pretty as the front. So if like here you've got more control over your pops of color, but here it's just so colorful. And I think, like, yeah, for those of us that know crochet, it's definitely the back of the stitches, right? But for those that don't know crochet, that's just a pretty stripe of color. It's just a pretty stripe of color. So what are you all working on in the chat here? Let me know. I've realized I have not shared the stream out to anywhere. So I might just do that as well. So Sal, if you wouldn't mind, if you're able to go and pop that into the fun zone, I would really appreciate that. I'm just going to open YouTube and grab the link. My channel. Click on that. That's muted. Good. Share to Twitter. It's still got Twitter everywhere. Those of you who don't know that Twitter has changed its name to X, which is dumb in my opinion. Oh yeah, look at that. It's actually got the X up on the left now. When you go into the Twitter app, or the online app anyway, it doesn't say Twitter anymore. It has got the X. It's very, Very disappointing, Twitter. Very disappointing indeed. Let's just throw away 17 years of branding and majoritively positive branding, really, except for the last 6 months. I wonder what that is. Musky. But yeah, and I was reading an article this morning. A photographer had the X Twitter handle, and he had publicly said that he would be interested in selling that handle to Twitter if they decided they wanted it. Otherwise, he was going to keep continuing to use it for his business. He woke up one morning to find he no longer had it, had access to it. Twitter just took it back, and now they use it. So I'm like, wow, that's just insane. Bianca says I'm making a top. I've only just started, and it's not actually a ranunculus. I have not swatched for the ranunculus yet. However, I did buy the pattern. So, one step closer to giving it a try. What it is I've got a couple of other projects, and I'm trying really hard to not get sidetracked and get those done. But in saying that, I really do want to get the ranunculus swatch done so that if the yarn that I want, the yarn we frogged last week, isn't going to be suitable, then when I go to retreat, I have buddies who can help me split the yarns back up into their individual yarns. I'm going to have problems typing as my cat has crawled on the laptop. Oh my gosh, cats are hilarious on laptops. They really are. Good morning to Game Widows and to Vampire. It's great to see you. Yeah, look, Bianca, I'm assuming your so dumb comment is in relation to the Twitterings. And I agree with you. Definitely agree with you. I'm trying to... Nope, not that one. There we go. I'm just trying to, center me a little more, because I've moved things around. I shifted the camera yesterday, and it's stopped rocking. It wasn't quite flat on the floor, and it was making me a bit crazy. So yesterday I got in and sorted that out. Oh, definitely regarding Twitter X, yes. Yeah, it's like, look, I've been doing some research. Elon Musk has been trying to get a business called X for about 1 million years, right? So when he was working at PayPal, he tried, running, I don't even know what his role at PayPal was. He was one of the founders of PayPal. He was trying to get them to call that X, but he was voted out by the financiers who are like, that's a dumb name. We're not interested in that name. Obviously it's a bit more convoluted than that, but that's pretty well the gist of it. And so he's owned the x.com domain for a long time and has just been looking for a reason to use it. So the other funny thing about it is, while he owns x.com, he actually doesn't own the trademark for X. The trademark for the letter X to be used in social media and online networking is split between, believe it or not, Meta and Microsoft, because Microsoft has PlayStations and not PlayStations, they have Xboxes. So when they have the Xboxes, they've managed to secure the X for certain uses, and Meta has secured X for certain uses. And Elon doesn't actually own the trademark. So he started rebranding a website without owning a trademark on something that other people already own the trademark on. And the thing that's doing my head in is, if you go to Twitter, while it's now called X, you still click tweet. The bird is still appearing in places, and if you go to any of the Twitter sort of documentation, it all still says Twitter. Nothing has been changed except for this one thing. And you're just like, oh my God, when you roll out a rebrand, there is a lot of work to do. Like you guys remember when I rebranded Fiberific, I wasn't changing its name. I was just changing its images. And remembering all the places that had to be changed was just so crazy. It is just insanity that he's doing this half-hearted. Apparently he's not changing the name. Well, I just went to Twitter right then, and instead of Twitter in the corner and the Twitter logo, it was the black logo of X right then. So there's stuff happening. X is dumb. It could be anything. I agree with you. Susanna says absolutely. That's ridiculous. I agree with you. It's so silly. It's so silly. It's these, it's so easy in business to make these sort of, fast decisions, right? Sometimes sometimes you're forced into it and you have to make a fast decision. And other times you've got time. You can choose. And it is just like whether it's Twitter or any other business, you can just choose and you can go at your own pace and you can keep it on the quiet until it's ready and then do it. There was no reason for this fast sort of neck flip of a snappy action. Sandy, actually, believe it or not, a lot of people care. A lot of people care. A lot of businesses are actually being affected by what Twitter does. So, yeah, there's a lot of people who care. Twitter's changed how you can access its API. It used to be free or very inexpensive. It's now $42,000 a month, which sounds fine until you realize places like train networks notify people that the train systems are down by using Twitter, and because they were using it through an API, they no longer had access. Twitter's backend was used by a lot of different businesses for a lot of different reasons, and all of this upheaval is actually making some huge differences to a lot of industries and people. So maybe Threads should be X. Look, Threads is another weird one, but Threads was thrown together. Like it's been like, who here is on Threads? Fiberific's on Threads. So you can go and follow me over there. I'm not doing a ton over there. I'm still sort of like just looking around. But Threads is another one. But the reasoning behind why they jumped fast, and they've actually put it out there that they weren't ready to go public, but with Twitter imploding and, basically you can't Twitter DM somebody now unless you're a Twitter Blue verified or if you're friends with them. Like it is just, there's a lot of stuff going on. So before, like if I had a problem with Telstra, I could tweet to Telstra, hey Telstra, what's going on with this? Telstra would reply back with, hey, can you DM this information? We can look into that for you. And then I would have a problem solved, whereas now I won't be able to DM them. Yeah, Threads, I actually think for us, Threads is more fun. And if you go and look in Threads, the number of people who are not yarny, cracking yarny and sort of thready, crafty jokes, it's fun. It's fun to check it out. So yeah, it's definitely fun to go and see some of the posts that people are writing. Like, what do we call our conversations in Threads now? It's like, is it a thread? Sandy says she's more worried about cost of living, number of homeless, etc. Look, yep, I agree. Those are also massive problems. They are definitely. I'm not diminishing those issues at all. So there's a lot of problems. There's even more problems than that. But this was one that I just noticed while I was tweeting out my stream, that it was just like, oh yeah, that's right. This is stupid. This is a thing. The reason this one annoys me so much is this is just someone making a snap decision that's affecting a lot of businesses, whereas the cost of living and the number of homelessness are much larger problems that can't be solved by one person going, oh, that's right, I'm an idiot, and fixing it. Those are much more broader topics that need serious brains on it to solve the greater problems. And that they are well above what I know how to do. All I know how to do to solve any of those issues for myself is just pull in the belt loops, stop spending money on things I don't need, and save if I can, or just use the money that I would have spent on something else, like, groceries. Shop smarter. That's the other thing. Like, we've been really here, like we've always just shopped at the one store, right? Like, what's the point of spending the fuel to go around to all the stores to get the bargains, right? We don't think like that anymore. We're like, okay, for a start, we have more stores closer to us now that we can get choices from. And we do shop the bargains. So, yeah. Big, heavy topics. So I'm nearly at the end of the roll. We'll be able to do a not heavy topic, which is a dice roll for a colour. Oh my gosh, that's kind of hilarious there, Russell, that wasn't considered. Because there's some seriously heavy-duty laws about, even the potential of those sorts of topics in a lot of countries. And that is funny. That is kind of funny. Luckily, they haven't given up twitter.com yet. So it's redirecting. Okay, we are nearly at the end of a row. My creaky chair is creaking. I'll have to look at why it's creaking. But not today. And I actually even remembered, even though I was running late like a crazy person, I remembered to grab some tissues. So I don't have to run away to grab tissues today. And we probably won't need any because I have some. It's like anything. You don't need the tissues if they're right there. But if they're not right there, you've got to go and get one. Alrighty. I'm just having a look at what colour I'd like to see next. We do have a pretty nice mix of the colours. So I don't know what colour to choose next. Do you know, it feels weird not having the music. Like, I know that this stream doesn't have the music. Our productivity streams do. But it took me a little bit to adjust to having the music for the productivity streams. And now not having the music feels weird. I don't know why. Sal says, don't forget to hit the thumbs up. Thank you, Sally. Appreciate that reminder. Yeah, that's how it always works. Have the thing so you don't need the thing. Exactly right. Exactly right. The Pew 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 Space Invaders music amused me. Oh, it did. I'm actually looking at setting up a productivity stream on my other channel once a month. I'll be doing different work over there, but it'll be the same sort of setup except with a screen share rather than with craft. So if you guys want to join on those ones, you totally can. Same sort of music playing, just me catching up on different work. Scissors. I definitely have scissors. Scissors. Snips. Okay. It is time. Let's see if my Stream Deck is very dull today. It's not very bright at all. I can barely read what's on it. It's dice roll time. Roll the dice to choose the next colour. Okay. So let's choose a dice to roll. We'll go with the bright yellow one. Do we get to see housekeeping on that channel? No? Alright, let's go. We have a 4. 1, 2, 3. 4 is Galah. Okay. That's this one. Soft pink again. It's actually, well, we've doubled up on this colour. Look at that. I was like, didn't we just do that colour? But yeah, we got Galah. I said other work. I meant things like creating thumbnails and video research and, you know, that sort of thing. Not housework. But in saying housework, I have changed this room around a lot in the last couple of weeks. Not that you guys can really tell, but yeah, I've moved a table that was running long ways down a wall to face the other way to go under a window instead. And it's really opened up the room, actually. I'm really enjoying it. It was like, when I have a question for you all. When you're planning the layout of a room, do you actually draw a scale image of the room and then draw scale pieces of the furniture, just like as in rectangles, cut them out and then stick them to try and work it? Because that's what I do. Every time I need to plan out a room, I will measure all the furniture I want to put in or considering putting in, like the footprint of the furniture, and do a scale, you know, like a pretty close to scale drawing of the room, and then move the furniture around that way? Or is that just me? Because my original plan for this room was slightly different. And yeah, it was just, you know, I know it sounds a little weird. I understand that. Because like I cut them out and put blue tack on them. And then sort of, okay, this big desk is going to go here. I want this little bookshelf over here on an angle in that corner. I want this chest of drawers along the back. I want that set of bookshelves over there, this other table. And I've got like, you know, the big 4x4 IKEA cube things. I've got that over there on that one wall. And my long-term plan is to actually move that into my bedroom, but I've got to get some other stuff out of there first and put a smaller rack in there that was going to take actually all the camera gear and everything that I've put in this chest of drawers here that was never going to go here. So yeah, it's bizarre. But the little table that I've got here, that was in the original plan, but because of I just kind of had to throw things in here and make the room workable. I never actually got around to putting the little table where I wanted it. So, and it's such a tiny room. Like this room is, off the top of my head, it's 2.5 meters by 2.2 meters. So it's a very small room and I fit a lot of stuff in here. So, yeah. Claire is here. She is listening and driving. Thank you. Frances says she doesn't cut them out, but she does draw the plan a few times. Kelly says, because I'm a drafts person, I could totally do that digitally. Well, I'm not a drafts person, and I need the visuals. I need the visuals. Game Widows is a graph paper type. Yep. Yes, we've had to get very creative with small living spaces before. Because this is the catch, right? Like, I wanted this imagery. I wanted this shelf and the wall visible behind me. I didn't want to put a bookshelf against this wall here. I wanted the wall visible. But the PowerPoint is just over there, so I need to leave, you know what I mean? Like, so there's things. There's things. So yeah, have to be very creative with small living spaces. I've also put tape down to see how much space a table would take up. Yeah, because this is the thing. Like, I can visualize, okay, that there, and I can visualize it, but sometimes I'm off and I can't put the two things next to each other because I'm out by like 2 centimeters or something. Yeah, this is a tiny room. This is a tiny room. And what I've got crammed into this room is a lot. So I went from my 6 meter by 3 meter shack out in the shed into this room here. But this room was already full. This room had all my craft stuff in it and it already had tables in it. So all those tables have had to just go. And yeah, I just had to sort of make it work and make it fit. So I had to downsize. But I'm also now, one of the big tasks that I'm doing at the moment is using up, like I bought a lot of yarn for blankets, but then never got around to making the blankets. So now I'm getting around to making the blankets. And when you clear blanket quantities out of your stash, it actually, like, because how many blankets have I done? I've done the Gumball Afghan out of the Aaron and Eve. So that was, I want to say nine 200-gram balls. 8 or 9 200-gram balls. I've done that one. Then Tim's blanket, but I did actually go shopping for more yarn for him, but it did pull out 4 200-gram balls out of the stash, but I also bought 4 200-gram balls as well. So the colours would match. Then the hexagon blanket actually was in a box because it was partly done, and the box that was in was a really big, like I want to say 50 centimeter square box by about 20 or 30 centimeters deep. It was this enormous box, and it was just cardboard. And now the blanket's done, and I'm using up the scraps. The scraps are now, like the leftovers so far are now down to a 20-litre crate. So I got rid of the box. The box is gone, and the scraps will fit into one single small crate. Is it a 20 or 30? It's a standard crate length, but it's only half depth crate. And I'm still using up some of those for another project, which shall remain secret for now. So, yeah, it just getting some of those bigger things out of the way. I've got some other yarn that I'm never going to use. So I've got a plan for a charity to donate that to, that will utilize it. And that gets rid of a whole nother cardboard box that's sitting there, which I don't like cardboard boxes. I've realized, I don't know when I realized it, but a little while ago, I realized I don't like cardboard boxes. So I've been going through and looking at what's in the box, deciding, do I want it? If I don't want it, rehome it. If I do want it, sort out a crate for it to go into. There's apps. Bub is in the house and she is lurking. Hello, Bub. Aspen Maywood says we want to fit a double bed and a TV stand, 2 offices made of desks and bookshelves, and an armchair nook. Oh, we fit. Okay, not we want to. We have fit a double bed, a TV stand, 2 offices, and an armchair nook in an 8 by 4 meter studio before. Yeah, like it's Tetris time. Because the other thing is, sure, you could totally fit it in, but can you fit it in a way that's workable? That's the other catch. Like, I could probably fit more into this room and still have this space like this, fit more in the other half of the room. Because like for clarity, or this room is the 2.5 meters is this way. This desk that I'm using here is a 1.6 meter desk. So it's already over half of the length of the room just on this desk. So this is a very big desk. It has a lot of stuff on it. It's got like 2 monitors and cameras and lighting and microphones, and I could probably downsize the desk if I wanted, but it is a sit-stand desk. So I would have to downgrade it to a standard sit desk. But yeah, it's in saying that, I very rarely stand at it at the moment. I really need to change that. I've got to fix some cabling, because when I was out in the shack, I had it all set up so that I could just raise it and lower it, no problems. There's a cable somewhere that's a bit tight that pulls on something every time it gets raised up. And I've kind of got to like hold on to like something, and so it doesn't get just pulled right off the desk. That's a little stressful. Let's not have the stress. I shall remain seated. Oh dear. But yeah. We've got 4 desks in our 6x3 office now. Yeah. That's still workable. That's still workable. As long as you've taken some of that other stuff out, like you don't have the bed and everything in there still, right? I was joking about how, if we have someone over, they get to have this little piece of carpet. And I've realised that they're probably better off over there now. Oh, it would depend on how tall they are. If they're short, they'd be better going the other way, because then they're not crowded out by stuff. But I definitely miss the old shack with the couch behind the table. Without a doubt. Are we? Yeah, we're nearly at the end of this row. We're getting there. We're ploughing through. How's everybody else's projects going? Are you ploughing through? I've been getting stuff ready for retreat, and making things ready for that. Getting all things sorted and packed up. Oh, no, we have bedrooms now. Okay, that's good. We use all the vertical space available, though, shelves on top of the desks. Yeah, like you've just got to go with this, like you've got to utilize the space you've got. That's one of the tricks, is utilizing the vertical space. I'm a massive fan of shelving and bookshelves. I actually have a room in my house that has so many windows that it actually made it hard to put bookshelves into, and it's like my living room. And so we've had to sort of set our living area up kind of weird, because we do have a piano, so that needed to be not on a window. And so that used one of the non-window walls. Then the other wall had the air conditioner unit on it, and our ceilings aren't particularly high. So the air conditioner was too low down to fit under the aircon unit inside. So we had like a custom bookshelf made. There used to be this really great place that for the same sort of price as your dodgy bookshelves, you could get a timber bookshelf made to your measurements. And I was just like, quick, before they realise that they're totally too cheap, quickly order something. So we got these bookshelves made, and it was like, they're timber, they're real wood, they're not particle board, and it is like the perfect height for under this air conditioner, so that it's under the air conditioner. It's still got like 4 shelves for books. The top shelf has got photos on. It's like it actually works. So sometimes that helps too. Frances says she can't get started, needs to start with winding the skeins into balls. Yeah, that's a good first step. Game Widows, shall I bring my wheel to retreat? Well, this is how I think about things. Can I carry all of my things through the airport? That's how I work out what I can and can't take to things. Is can I deal with more than a suitcase? And how heavy is that suitcase? That's how I work it out. So, yeah. And can you get it up to the hall unassisted? That's the other trick. I quite often end up leaving things behind just because I'm like, you know what? I'm going to be tired. It's going to be heavy. I love the idea, but not the reality. Oh, Claire, thank you. I'm really enjoying working on it. Unfortunately, this colour that we see on the screen looks nothing like the blanket. As we all know, for some reason, my little webcam is not coping. I've actually started hunting around for a replacement. It's been bothering me. Not just the colours, but also that there's a section of it that won't focus properly. Where is it? It just, everything remains soft and furry and I don't like it. Game Widows, big suitcase has wheels. That's great. Is everywhere you're going have something you can drag with wheels? Because I know that at the retreat, not everywhere you can drag with wheels. So there are areas that don't have concrete pathways and you'll have to go across the grass. So, yeah. That's the other thing. Sal's back. But yeah, it's I'm definitely keeping an eye out for any bargains. It's a tough call. Because I do have, you guys remember the face cam that would turn off every 30 minutes? I still have that camera, right? And I'm seriously contemplating actually bringing that back in to be the overhead camera. Because the webcam is going to be, can you ship anything ahead? Nope. You can't. There's nowhere to get it shipped to. And Australian shipping takes forever. So she would have had to ship it already for it to be there in time. Because the retreat's out in the middle of the sticks. And it is not on the standard, routes for deliveries. Yeah, she would arrive before it arrives. Absolutely. I had a friend who decided to ship her Bendigo stock ahead of her, and she shipped it well and truly ahead. It should definitely have beat her to Bendigo. And it was supposed to be picked up from a particular, it was like a, I think how Office Works, you can ship from Office Works to Office Works and you can pick it up from there. Well, she was supposed to be able to have picked it up from that Office Works on the Tuesday or Wednesday before Bendigo. She's gone to pick it up. It's not there. So the only stock she had was the extra stock she had in her luggage, which was not much. And they had to hunt down the driver. And the problem was her order was in the van and he was like, oh, yeah, I'll take it in tomorrow. And she's like, no, I need this today. I was supposed to be here 2 days ago and it's not here and I need it today. I need to pick it up this morning. And he was all angry and wouldn't bring the van to the place the day early, like 2 days after it was supposed to be there. But he made her wait and she had to leave the Bendigo show to go and get her box of stock part the way through a show. Well, it's more than one box, but yeah, it was just insanity. So everyone was like, why don't you just ship your stock down for Bendigo? And I'm like, that reason. Because one of the big hard parts for me for Bendigo was I have to drive through 2 states to get there. It's like 23 hours of driving each way. We have finished the Galah. And we are back to Flamingo. But yeah, we are out in Whoop Whoop. Oh, I hope she left a bad review too, but she's one of those amazing people that probably didn't, just sucked it up and took it in her stride and moved on. I would have left a bad review because I'm vindictive that way. Like, dude, I had to leave the event that I was supposed to be selling at because you couldn't deliver it in the time frame. So technically, I think it was something like 5 days late. Because she'd arranged for it to be there so early, and she double checked that if she didn't get there until a certain day, that it was okay for it to wait until she got there. So she was making sure it was not too early for them to be inconvenient for them, but also in time for her. So yeah, this was a few years ago. So hopefully that things have changed. 2, 4. I'm like, oh, I better count that. Stop. Oh, Aspen's had squish mail arrive. Hobby order has just arrived. It's a good yarn day. Oh, what did you get? You have to tell us. What did you order? I've been knitting my Arco Iris Arco, whatever it's called, now for a little while. But I'm onto the waistband with the cables, which I've had to put down while my brain wasn't working properly because it turned out I was screwing the cables up left, right, and center and had to frog back nearly the entire waistband. And I can't say if I've done the exact same mistake again. So I've just put it aside until my brain's back. The English knitter Nathan, he sent his stuff from England to Ireland for a show and it never turned up until a week later. He had no stock for the show and then was back in the UK when the stock arrived in Ireland. Then he had to organise for someone to pick it up and ship it all the way back to the UK. Yeah. Oh my gosh. That would have just been... Oh my gosh. Yeah. And this is why we don't ship ahead, everybody. Oh my gosh. Starlight Soft. I've been making beanies for playing outside with torches. I don't know what Starlight Soft is. I'm going to have to go and have a look now. That sounds amazing. I'd love a photo of your Squishmail delivery over in the fun zone if you're willing, so I can check it out. And it reminds me to go in and search it up. Search it up. Shipping stiffs is unusual. Yes, yeah. There's particular services for that particular item to be shipped. Well, Claire, we've already discussed what's in all our cups and you missed out because we did that back at the start. But I have 3 cups. So I have a water cup. In my Yeti, I have coffee. And in my Facecam mug, I have got hot water and honey, which is less hot now. Can I count is the question. And I only need to be able to count to 4, and yet I still stuff it up. It's a skill. It's a skill. I do miss... Yeah, you know what? It was kind of fun. Like, I was frustrated by it. But at the same time, it was kind of fun, which is why I think I'm not totally averse to the idea of making that camera my overhand camera. Yeah, I'm going to be doing some testing out, because with this particular software that I'm using here, I can actually use a Canon camera without a capture card. Like usually I have to You have to HDMI out of your camera with a little mini HDMI cord into a capture card, which is this whole other thing that can cost anywhere from $20 odd for the dodgy ones, which are hit and miss. Apparently some work, some don't, all the way up to hundreds and hundreds. I've got kind of the midway point. I've got the Cam Link capture card, which is about $250. I've been using that exact one, so I've only purchased the one, but I've been using it now for years. It's been a solid beast. It's what's plugged into this one. And then you can plug the Cam Link into your computer. Whereas Ecamm makes it so that you can plug a Canon camera using its USB plug directly into your computer. The catch being the picture quality. The other advantage of that is it doesn't actually turn off after 30 minutes. Apparently. So I want to run some tests. So I've got to plug it in, see how it looks. Right now, like, I think anything would look better than this. That's how I feel about this at the moment. I'm really unhappy with the colours. They do my head in. Except you still need to be able to see what I'm doing. I still need the focus. So I've heard different people say, oh my God, it's so amazing, blah, blah, blah. And then other people like, oh my God, the picture quality is so trash. And you're just like, oh man, which one am I going to get? Am I going to get the trash? Or will I actually get the usable quality? Holly now has key lime sparkling water. That sounds amazing. Oh, I love the sound of that. So yeah, that does it. My Canon M50 comes in now through Canon app as a webcam. Used to do HDMI. Yeah. Well, with because I've got the M6 Mark 1. I don't have the M50. The Mark II, which came out like 2 months after I bought mine, because I bought mine a little later, but they brought out the Mark II 2 months later, and it doesn't auto shut off at 30 minutes, which is so frustrating. But I have the Mark 1. And when you're using Ecamm, you can't use the app for some reason. You just go straight into Ecamm. I think there's like some sort of double redundancy stuff happening, and you end up with no footage. But probably definitely, like for StreamYard, for when I'm streaming over there, probably worth me checking to see how the app works. So I will have a look, because the last time I downloaded the app for the Canon was before the big, the world shut down. So it was before Canon brought out the really good app. So it's been a while. I can probably have a play with that. But yeah, that could be something that I might do during a productivity stream, is camera testing. The other thing is, I don't know if my little stand will take the weight. So I've got to test that too. It works with the M50 and is great. So that's good. The M50 was around at the same sort of time as the M6. So similar-ish styles of camera. So I can't see why it wouldn't work. But, some days I have really bad luck. And, it might be that day. We will see. We will see. Okay. We are plowing through this. I'm like, I really need some coffee, but I don't want to start drinking the hot coffee until I finish the cooling honey water. Macy the Psychopath Kitty apparently really likes my bags of fiber fill, it turns out. It works with many older Canon DSLRs because I've got a 70D, which I just love. My M6 has a battery pack, so that's the advantage of that, but my 70D does not. It only has batteries. I mean, I have 3 batteries for it, but it only has batteries. Oops, counting. That might be nice to bring the 70D out of. Is that sitting up there? No, it's packed away. That might be nice as well. Just for fun. Although I don't know if the 70D had a clean HDMI out. But if I'm using it USB out, it's different anyway. I'm going to have a play. I'm going to have some time. Lisby has been doing paperwork. Joy. Joy of joy. I'm going to have to do some paperwork soon. One of the emails that I'm catching up on is from my accountant. Excitement plus. So I want to try and get some of that at least knocked over before I go on retreat so that I can finalize it all after retreat. Exciting. Not. It's totally not exciting. I don't like paperwork. Well, I mean, I do, but I don't. I don't like accountant paperwork. Moving support agencies is so boring. Yeah, I can imagine. But important. You don't make that decision lightly, I'm sure. We are nearly ready for the next colour. No offense, pink, parrot, whatever you're called. I kind of hope I get a different colour next time. Bendigo survey complete. Now working on Secret Squirrel retreat stuff. Yay for retreat. I'm sorry for those of you that aren't coming to retreat that you miss out, but I only have limited numbers. I did see an advert, thank you to Emma for sharing it with me this morning, with the next Margicraft retreat, which there is one being held down in Victoria. So if you are a spinner, you need to hit up the Margicraft Facebook page and go and check that out. Their retreats are phenomenal. I've gone to their New Zealand one a couple of times. I haven't been to the Melbourne one or the Victoria one, but their retreats are so fun. They're basically the exact opposite of the Fiberific retreats, where we are like low-key chill, bring your projects, you've got time to work on everything. The Margicraft retreats have got phenomenal workshops the entire weekend and you want to do them all. So it is basically the exact opposite, but still awesome. I'm working on my 110th square for the Kogo Squareathon. I'm hoping to get to 150 by the end. Oh my goodness, how big are these squares? Seriously. Francis says, I'm consoling myself with the fact that I'm going to Spinners and Weavers camp with my mum in September. Oh, I'm so glad that you're getting to do something. I'm not sure if that all makes sense. The game winner says, can recommend the location of the Victoria Margicraft camp. Lovely setting and the fathering is phenomenal. Fathering? I don't know what that means. Is that a new word that I need to understand, or is that a typo? Any retreat specials? I'm in the market for a new wheel. Not usually. No, Margicraft don't actually just about ever have specials. So, yeah, I'm afraid to say. Their wheels are the wheels. Oh, they're 20 centimeters. Wow, that's enormous. 20 centimeters, so that's 8-inch squares for those outside of the metric system. So you've so far done 110 8-inch squares. Like, are these all in one project? Because it's like that's huge. Yeah, that's enormous. Although, in saying that, I was saying Knit Spin Girls, sometimes in their New Zealand retreats, they make what they call Frankenstein wheels, and they sell those a little cheaper. So, and what they are is when they make wheels, the timbers have variations. So they make sure that when you buy a wheel, your timbers are all pretty close, if not perfectly matched. But what they'll do is sometimes at the end of a set period of time, I don't know how long it is, they'll go, okay, we've got a pile of this piece that is in this color, and we've got a pile of these treadles that don't match. And they'll actually just make some wheels with these mismatched timber colors. So you get what they call a Frankenstein wheel. So it's perfectly perfect, except the tones of the wood are different, and sometimes very different, lighter versus darker, stuff like that. So yeah, it is definitely worth it if you can get your hands on one of those. But I don't think they would bring them to Australia because that's an international cost of bringing wheels. Yeah. The 70D will work with the EOS. Thank you for checking for me, Russell. I really appreciate that. I'll have to download that and have a play. We are nearly at the end of a row. But yeah, it's this. I was looking at the. Someone was getting quotes for me the other day about Margecraft wheels, and they were like, "Oh my gosh, when I bought my Susie Pro, she was only $800 brand new." And then I'm like, "Oh yeah, they've gone up a little. They've gone up a little in price." Yeah. I remember I bought my little gem for $700, and the little gems are now, I want to say around $1,400, I think. So I could sell my little gem now for the money that I paid for it, and because it's still in perfect working order. I have replaced a part on it, which makes it a little Frankenstein, just because the timbers are slightly different. But I don't know if I don't use it. I don't know if I'd sell it, but I don't use it. Oh, okay, I understand. They're individual squares. Kogo will sew them together to make blankets to distribute to people in need. The challenge started on the 10th of June for Worldwide Knit in Public Day and ends on the 10th of August, so I have 2 weeks. Okay. Wow, I love that. So you just make all the squares and somebody else will turn it into useful blankets. So that's amazing as well. Knit Spin Girl says, I paid 600 odd for my Susie, new approximately 16 years ago. Yeah, they're a bit dearer now. They're also made a little differently now as well. Not too different, but there's they've upgraded a few of the bits and bobs. Alison says, I checked out the new one. Oh, the Luna. Is that what you're talking about? The new wheel at Bendigo. If I needed a new spinning wheel, I would have been very tempted. I am exceptionally tempted by the Luna, but I just keep reminding myself that my Susie Pro has not had any love for over 12 months. And so right now I have a lot more time in my hand than usual, even before I was sick. And so I've been, utilizing it for craft and to clear out stuff out of, storage and stuff like that. And I don't want to get another wheel right now, but the Luna looks amazing. Like, I'm seriously contemplating, selling my little gem secondhand, just because I'm not using it. And I do travel with my Susie. I pop her in the back seat and seatbelt her in. So I've just not been using it. And the reason we had to replace a part is because Abby had been using it and had actually just sort of popped her in the bag and shoved her under a bed, but didn't realize that she was banging it with something and actually had damaged one of the poles. So Christina Trotter is in the house. She's managed to sneak in yet again. That's awesome, Christina. I hope you enjoy your break between your jobs that you've got to get done, and that it's relaxing and energizing so that you can kick into the next one with renewed fervor. But yeah, the Luna looks lovely. I really love the idea of the Luna. It just seems to sit really nicely, and my spinning wheels do a lot of sitting. Let's not lie to ourselves. Oh my goodness. How tall is the Luna? I don't know. I'd have to look it up. Yeah, there's measurements. It's supposed to be a similar height to the little gem, I believe. But yeah, I would have to look it up. I don't know enough about Luna off the top of my head to be able to give you any good information. I'm sorry. Oh, just about lost the blanket. Okay. So let us go. Whoops. It's dice roll time.
It's dice roll time. Roll the dice to choose the next colour.
Okay. Alrighty. I'm going to move and get rid of that and go back to there. So what colour is everybody hoping for while I have a sip of coffee here? You know, when you have your first sip of coffee out of like a thermos and you're like, please don't burn my tongue, please don't burn my tongue. That's the thing with the Luna. It is a static shape. You can't fold it down, whereas with the Suzy Pro, you can actually tilt it so it takes up less height. And with the little gem, it can be folded into a bag. Whereas the Luna that's it. But it also comes built. I think all you have to do is put the drive bands on and it comes as is. And yes, that's something I absolutely love about Margicraft is all of their bobbins and pieces all fit across all of their wheels. Except for there's some things that are aura specific. So, all right, let's roll the dice. It's a 3. There are many happy people who want the purple. Come on, purple. Come over here. It's been a little while since we've had a purple. My chair is so squeaky. I don't like how squeaky it is. I'm going to have to give it a jiggery pokery and work out what its problem is. Look at the people who love the purple. Yay. We've missed you. Oh my goodness. That's kind of funny. Alrighty, let's get the purple going all the way across. That's so cool. But yeah, the Luna looks lovely. Like, it's a really well thought out wheel. The design is gorgeous. I love the curves of it. Just so many things I love about it. I just don't have space for another wheel right now. I could probably sell a few wheels. I could probably sell a few knitting machines that have not seen the light of day in years. Most definitely need new sponge bars before they're used. But I've got a couple of standards and I've got a bulky. So I don't think I could sell the bulky. It was so hard to find in Australia a brother. I think it's a KH260. It was really hard to get. Standards are easy to get. You can buy them anywhere. The op shops sell them for $50. I was either buy a plastic one out of the US, one of the I can't remember the name of the plastic ones, which I had a turn of. A friend of mine had bought one and I did not like it. Or I managed to find a secondhand Brother Bulky, which does 8-ply and worsted really nicely. So I would keep that, I think. I mean, the reality is I haven't used any of them in such a long time that it kind of feels wrong. I also have the ribber for them. I have ribbers for 2 of the machines. So the ribber for the bulky and the ribber for one of the, I think it's the Empasal. Anyway, I could knock myself out the most lovely jumpers and tops and just never have. I really should. I've got the yarn. Oh, Game Widow says my store was opposite the machine knitters at Bendigo. That would have been fun. I love watching machine knitting. Do they have like, because like there's so many different brands that do different things, but yeah, just yeah, I think so, Sal. I think so. I won't yet. I'm trying really hard to just sort of declutter some stuff first. So some things I know I definitely want to get rid of to make some space. And I'll go from there, and then I will start having some fun with, my knitting machines. Because I've got like, one of the things is when I was heavy into machine knitting, I would get the really thin cotton on cones and hold a few strands together and make beautiful marled tops and stuff for Abby. So I've got something like 20, maybe 18 or 20 big cones of like really fine machine knitting cottons that I could play with and have some fun with. That takes up 2 to 3-ish cubes in my cube storage as well. Like that's the thing. Like it's not just, and it's like my cross stitch stuff has is an entire set of drawers in my bedroom, and like all my different crafts have just, they take up huge amounts of space, and I haven't done a lot of them. Like my daughter is 18 and I have not finished the burst sampler I started for her with cross stitch. I've done other cross stitches, but I haven't finished that one. There was a red and grey jumper they made that was gorgeous. Yeah. Sometimes like even with like hand knitting and things like that, when you bring in the yarns and choose your different yarns for the different sections, and it can make or break a project, I think. So and these have got card readers, so you can actually set it to knit lace, and it'll do all that for you. So you can actually make those cute little lacy tops if you wanted. But yeah, just once, like, and there's some people that really do believe that knitting machine is cheating knitting, and it is just not. It's a totally different skill set required. It is totally different skill set. And while yes, once you've set your machine up and you've gotten started on each piece, the pieces are finished much faster. I won't deny that. But if you don't know how to set it up, good luck with getting anything off the machine. If you don't weight it properly, if you don't move the weights properly, good luck with getting anything out of the machine. It's one of those sorts of things. If your machine needs maintenance and it doesn't open and close its clips properly, good luck getting anything out of it. So yeah, there's lots of things. It's like, it's not cheating, it's just different. It's different skills required. Also, not much it's much harder to make things in the round, so you're going to have to mattress stitch everything. Luckily for me, I kind of like mattress stitching. Am I the only one here that actually enjoys mattress stitching? Like, I enjoy mattress stitching. The whole, like, pulling the strands and they, slide together perfectly, it just gives me happiness. And I hadn't done any for ages. And then when I made the cowl, it was like a shoulder seam. It was like a sideways mattress stitch. And I was working on it. I'm like, oh my gosh, I've missed doing this, because the number of things that I do that's all in one now, that doesn't require any sort of joining or mattress stitching. I was like, oh my gosh, I love doing this. Buying a jumper at Kmart is cheating. Oh yeah, I agree with you. Yeah. In saying that, I do tend to just buy my clothes. I don't make myself a lot of clothing. Even I don't actually buy any knitwear. Because my brain just says, no, don't do it. And I certainly don't buy crochet. Like, I do not buy commercially made crochet because that is sweatshop work. There is no machine in existence that crochets. So if you see a crochet top at Kmart, somebody sat down with a hook in their hand to make those pieces. Sure, they can use linking machines to get those pieces together, but somebody had to sit down and crochet those pieces with their hands. And you can bet your bottom dollar they weren't paid properly for it. Knitspin Girls has just taken possession of all the spinning and knitting supplies from a deceased lady from her spinning group, from a deceased estate, a lady from her spinning group. My garage is full. Oh my gosh. Yeah, look, I am that gloomy person. I've had, I'm not very, I'm older now, but I've had my will since my daughter was a toddler. And it's one of those things that I think everyone should have. But I just think, like, what would happen? Like, how would Tim cope when he realized the full extent of my crafting supplies? Like, they're all here. Nothing's hidden. Everything's in stacks of crates and things like that. But would he just give it away somewhere, or would he try and sell it, or would he contact someone I know to get them to help him to sell it, or like, what would he do? I should probably discuss that with him. I mean, I made him get a will, so it's not that big a step. It is just one of those things that you're just like, wow, like, please don't just give this stuff away. You could cover the cost of my funeral with the sale of these goods. Oh, good. Lisby's got hers sorted. Her husband knows to contact myself or Alison to help him sort through it all. Like, there would be some things like, you know what, yarn, yeah, donate the yarn, whatever, that's fine. But when it comes to the equipment, like, that needs to find a new home. Her family was overwhelmed when I suggested I could just take about everything. They were so grateful. Now I just have to find homes for everything. Okay. So I can see the need to just get it out of their house for them. I can see that. And you're a smart person. The good stuff won't end up at the tip. I remember a story my mum told of a death in their family where not her, but the immediate family members basically just brought in a skip and just dumped everything out into the skip and emptied the house. And I was just sort of like, but what about the good stuff? Like, what about the important things? What about, all that sort of stuff? And Mum was just like, there was some regrets a couple of years later when they realised that all the photo albums and everything went. They just wanted everything empty and everything gone, and they did not consider it. So make wise decisions. Deb says, for someone who's been sick for a few weeks, you're sure looking good. Oh, thank you. I have powder, bronzing powder on, so I don't look quite so pale. But the grey is gone, mostly from around my eyes, which is really nice. I've had a few good nights' sleep. So I've had just over a week worth of good night's sleep, to be honest, which feels amazing. When you have bad sleep for nearly 4 weeks and then finally start getting some good sleep, it feels wonderful. It feels wonderful. So, yeah. Christina says a lot of people seem to do that. Yeah, look, and this is the thing. It's a highly emotional time, and there's a lot of hard work and a lot of hard decisions to be made while they're grieving. And this is one of the thought. This is how I said to my husband with the wills. There are decisions we could be making now that would mean that when or if the worst happens, you don't have to make those decisions then because they're already made. You just have to implement the plan. And then you don't have to think about it. And you can get on with grieving and get on with living. So that's how, I'm that person. So, yeah. If you have the plan in place, sure, there might have to be a couple of little adjustments made for whatever reasons. But if the overarching plan is in place, then no major emotional, decisions have to be made while you're in that terrible state of grief. We finished the purple. I've also learned that after live stream, I have to pick all the little tails up and throw them in because Macy grabs the tails and runs with them, and I end up having to bring back all the yarn. Oh, guys, I was on moderating for someone, so I was in this room at this desk at about 1 a.m. Saturday night because it's a stream that runs from 11 through to 11 p.m. through to 2 a.m. my time, which starts at 9 a.m. Eastern US. And I'm sitting here. It's pretty dark. I've got like a little bit of light. I kind of just have one light on. Just, so that the light doesn't, affect the rest of the household trying to sleep. And I'm sitting here and I've got headphones on and I'm chatting because I'm on voice with one of the other moderators. So we chat to each other through the entire stream while we're sort of moderating and, we give each other suggestions and, stuff like that. It's awesome. And sometimes we're just silly and laugh. Have you met me? Anyway, I'm sitting there, it's about 1 o'clock. Just about to sort of, have a big old stand up and stretch and a 2-minute break. And there's this crashing noise from just here, from this bookshelf. And I'm flipping around because I'm in headphones. So audio outside of my headphones is not great. Tibbles had somehow gotten behind this bookshelf. He's a big slug of a cat. Okay, I don't know how he got behind it. He got behind the bookshelf and couldn't get back out again, so just decided to make a path and just pushed everything off this shelf. So all the yarn, everything. But because it's not super stable, things were crashing and a whole pile of little things fell down. Anyway, scared the absolute bejesus right out of me. And I've, squawked or made some amusing sound, because the other mod is laughing his butt off in my headphones. It's like, are you okay? And I'm like, the freaking cat just scared the life out of me. But yeah, you probably had to be there. But it was terrifying, but such relief when I realized what it was. And the cat just looked at me like, what? Your stuff was in my way. I moved it. I recently bought the book Swedish Death Cleaning so that I can clean my house and get rid of all the things I don't want and that my family wouldn't want. Yeah, this is the thing. We all think, oh, my kids will want this, my kids will want. But the question is, do you think they really will? Do you really think they will? We've got all this stuff we have very limited storage space in our home, right? We don't have a garage. And so therefore, we have a very small 3-bedroom home. This is one of the bedrooms. And it's very, very modest, does not have much in the way of storage, right? So our storage space is at a premium. And we have a whole pile of fibrific stuff just taking up the entry area, all in crates or on a couple of shelves. And I've tried really hard to just keep that all there. But then when we had to close down the storage shed, I've had to bring in all my yarn, all my personal craft stuff that was up in the storage shed. It had to come home as well. So there's another pile of crates. So we've got like this crate stacking thing going on. So I've got to go through it. I want to condense some of those down a bit more. And then I'm just like, those stitches are really long. What have I done to make those stitches so long? But my husband was like, we were talking about something, and he was just like, oh yeah, the crates under our bed are fine. They're not taking up any space. I'll go through them another time. And what it is we've got about, I think it's 6 or 8 crates under our bed. And all of them except for one are filled with stuff that Tim's parents sent him when they downgraded their house, because they didn't want it, because they had tons of storage, whereas the new house didn't. And it's basically every book he had at school, plus boxes of costumes he had for like book week days and stuff like that. And I'm just like, my childhood fits in half a crate, and I've got other stuff in with it, like my childhood mementos. So I've got my favorite stuffy bear that I had, and my like formal tickets and things like that. And I'm just like, well, you know, some of this stuff here could be taking that storage space. Like, yeah, some of this stuff, it could be utilizing that space. So saying it's fine under the bed and it's not taking up any space is not totally true. And I'm not saying you have to get rid of it or get rid of all of it. I'm just saying that if there is stuff under there that you want to get rid of, please get rid of it sooner, because then we could clear out the living area a bit faster, which is something that bothers him a lot. Me, I'm like, yeah, whatever, stacks of crates, cool. He's like, I hate having crates in the living area where people can see it. So yeah. This blanket pattern is the Mosaic. I think it's the beginner Mosaic blanket. The link is in the description of this video, so if you have a look in there. This is a pattern from Crochet with Claire. So it is a full step-by-step tutorial is on her channel. Also, if you want to support Claire, you can go and buy the PDF of the pattern from her as well. But she has given us a discount, so there is a discount code in the description also if you decide you wanted to go and buy the pattern. But you can sit down and learn it from the tutorial. You don't need to, you don't have to buy the pattern if you don't want. Thank you. Sal has popped the link in the chat there, so I appreciate that, Sally. And we have cleaned up Claire's website, so it should all be good now. There were some issues which we have solved. And let's keep going. But yeah, like, you know, I know it's a bit of a morbid chat. Sorry about that, everybody. Honey water is finished. I have no guilt now about that. It was ice cold at the end. Ice cold. You know what? Before I got sick, I filmed some videos, right? There's two videos waiting to be uploaded to the channel. Well, they've got to be edited. But the problem is, because I've been unwell and this is the coldest room in our entire house, I don't want to sit in here for hours on end at the moment. So I have not edited the videos, and this room has the only computer that can edit. So I can't even take it somewhere else and do it somewhere else. We've just got to wait until I feel a bit better. I'm nearly back. Not 100% back. I'm still coughing. I'm still waking up at night. Just not as much as I was the last couple of weeks. But one of them I'm super excited for. One is Ravelry, getting started on Ravelry video. And the other is a review on one of those beginner packs of hooks from Amazon. So it's my first thoughts when I opened up one of those, and my suggestions and my feelings on that. So that's happening. Plus also there's 2 Yarny Girl podcasts to edit. So I'm hoping to get one of those done just before retreat. So those of you that can't come to retreat, and then, go from there. And this is my goal. I'm trying to be 100% for retreat. So when I get back from retreat, I'll be a little bit run down again, give it a couple of days, and I'll be back up again. And then I'll be at full steam ahead, and retreat will be behind me, and I'll be able to focus on some other things. And that is the goal. But I really would like to get a Yarny Girls podcast up. So hopefully I can get well enough to just give one of those a spruce over and remove the things that we don't want out in the real world, and just add in some bits and bobs at the beginning and the end. It's not a huge job, but it's big enough. It's big enough. Those of you that caught Claire's live yesterday, it was an unusual situation. So we've jumped into the software that we use for those chats, which is StreamYard, and Claire's screen was black, and I could barely understand her because the computer voice, it was like doing that whole like pixelated computer voice thing. And I'm like, sent her a message. I was just like, have you run a speed test? And she's like, oh no. And I'm like, can you run one please? So she's run a speed test, and her internet speeds were a problem. Like, I specialize in low speed streaming, right? I started live streaming here on the FibroFit channel when everyone told me that it couldn't be done. With the computer gear that I had and the internet speeds that I had, I was told it couldn't be done. And I worked out ways around it. No way. Her upload speed was 0.19 megabits per second. Most people won't even contemplate streaming with less than 5 megabits per second. I'm more comfortable if you can hit 10, especially like if you want to have 2 cameras. If you want 10 megabits, makes me feel really safe, right? So 0.19 was terrible. So we did some of the standard fixes, the shadow computer down, reboot the router, wait 5 minutes, boot it back up, get the computer back on. And all of this helped a little, got it up to 0.2 something. But she's just, with her location, she is out in the middle, she's on property out in the middle of central New South Wales. There's just not much in the way of internet. And we just had to make it was already after the time she should have started. And we just had to make this decision, okay, do you want to jump in with audio only? And just say hi to everybody and then bounce out? Or do you want to cancel? Or what do you want to do? And so she decided to jump in with audio only, just to, let everybody know she was okay and it was just the internet. She ended up having, we ended up chatting together, but we ended up chatting for an hour with audio only. And, it's not ideal when you want to have a live stream and it ends up being audio only. But I felt it was better than nothing, and it seemed that the stream felt that way too. But we're hoping Claire is researching some of the alternative internet options that she could have where she is. So fingers are crossed that gets resolved, because I don't know if the audio only is really the best option going forward, as a permanent solution. But yeah, we will see how she goes. But yeah, 0.019. And we were joking about how, in Australia, our internet is terrible. We are, like, last I checked, I think we're at the 66th top internet in the world, which is a joke, okay? There are third world countries that have better internet in some places than we do. And of course, it's governmental regimes, blah, 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 blah. I get it. But ours is dreadful. And there are some people who have good internet in Australia. If they are lucky enough to have fibre to their homes, they'll have good internet. My mum is out in the middle of whoopity whoop whoop land, and she gets good internet because she's got like a NBN satellite. I don't know, something. So hers is good. But yeah, I've got solid internet. Like as I've said before, like even for my internet provider, I would happily take a cut on my download speed to increase my upload speed. In Australia, they cap it. So in the US, you can have 1 gig down and 1 gig up, but you can't get that here in Australia. Unless you're on some massive business enterprise plan, you can't get that here. You can get the higher download speeds. I'm not sure if I know of anyone in Australia who's got the 1 gig down, 1 gig up. Not saying it can't be done. I just don't know of anybody who has it. And even people that have gone with the fibre optic to their homes, they still are limited to like 300 down and 50 up. 300 down is lightning, okay? It's lightning fast. There's no buffering. There's no nothing. And 50 up, it would be absolutely amazing, especially for me. Like I have... My massive uploads are these live streams and when I'm uploading a video. I don't have massive corporate data uploading that I have to do or anything like that, which is lucky for me because I've got a 100 down or 103 as of this morning, 103 down and 39 up, which is really good for a home situation. Yes, see, Bianca, I'm on a 140 plan, but I don't get 140. I get more like 130. So yeah, and I'm on HFC as well, which is the hybrid fiber and coax. So that's what I get. So when you run an actual speed test, you don't always get what you sold, and depending on the time of day that you do the speed tests as well, it changes. So yeah, I'm on a 140 plan as well. But I get over the 100. Like the 100's not the issue. I'm fine with that. And even when it's busy and I get 80, don't even notice it, because before we got that, we used to have 5 to 6 down and 3 up, or 8 down and 6 up when we changed to cable. I remember some people did a competition sending data from Kyogo to Casino, a 30-minute drive, between dial-up and a pigeon, and the pigeon won. Oh my gosh. Oh, that's hilarious. I love that. But dial-up was terrible. Dial-up was a joke. Savannah says, I have fibre to the FTTC. So what's that? Fibre to the... I don't know. Fibre to the curb. And both pits are on my verge garden, which regularly gets destroyed when they come to do work. And even now you're blurring my TV as I don't get what I'm paying for. Oh my goodness. The other thing to remember is, and I'm not sure if you can do it on the TV, but you can, sometimes YouTube makes a decision for you and decides that, oh, look, we're just going to give you a 480p instead of 1080. So, you can click on there's a little cog and check which signal YouTube is sending you. Because sometimes, like, I'll be here, like, I have no reason to ever want 360, right? And I'll be like, what is wrong with this stream I'm watching? Like, it'll just be a live stream I'm watching. And then it's just like, it's so blurry. And then someone in the comment will be like, oh my God, your image is so amazing. And then I'm like, oh, and click it. And I'm like, I have never wanted 360 ever in the history. I would rather not watch it than get 360. So change it up to the 1080. But sometimes they do that for you and they make that decision for you, which is really annoying. Like, oh, we'll save you some data by giving you absolutely dodgiest internet ever. So, Bianca did her speed test. Oh, excellent, Bianca. I'm really far from my node, so my upload speed's always low. Susanna, you've just checked it, and see, when would you ever want 144p? Never. So, so I hope you fix that. Flora says AT&T Fiber have 900 up and down. With Comcast has 1,000 down and 30 up as a backup. Yeah, I've got mobile data as my backup. So, and it's solid as well. The pigeon versus dial-up wasn't even a close oh, that's hilarious. Yeah, Game Winners. I've seen them do that. They're literally, because like in Australia, a lot of our telecommunication pits are underground. I don't know if that happens everywhere else, but it does here. And rather than making the pits waterproof, they literally just wrap the cables in a rubbish bag and then cable tie the rubbish bag. So quite often the cables are wet because that's not going to waterproof anything ever in the history of man. Yeah. So, oh my gosh. Well, I hope Susanna that you have now improved your screen and that it's looking better for you. But like just because you've changed it now doesn't mean YouTube's not going to make that decision again for you later. So every time you notice that it's rubbish, just double check it. I'm so glad you told me I've changed it to 1080p and I look amazing. Oh, thank you. Yeah. Well, I'm glad you worked that out. I'm glad that you know how to do that now because it will make the difference for you. And the other thing to do is just jump on your phone, on your Wi-Fi, go into your, wherever it is that you do your Google searches, type speed test, and you can run a speed test from your phone to test your home network's Wi-Fi. And you can check that. So it's quite often Google have one, Ookla have one. They're all, they all have slightly differences in how they do it, but it'll give you the rough idea of exactly where you're at. And if you've got a really slow download speed, you know that you might need to reboot your NBN router or your internet or whatever it is. I reboot both when I'm rebooting mine here. But if they're fine, to check the television or to check the device that it might be the actual programming that's making the decision for you. Florida says, I still remember my first 9600 board modem cost hundreds. I bought a really expensive Netgear ADSL 2+ modem and it was like $400. And yeah, it was just chaotic. It was really great. It really improved things, but it's rubbish. Now there's no ADSL 2+ here. It's not an option. I had to throw it away. And then the one that they provided me with my NBN was just terrible. But I had to go and buy an NBN router then. So another $400 down the toilet. But yeah, just like routers were just so dear. For some reason, I don't get the live stream on my TV, so I have to read it on my mobile phone. I think there's an option for you to bring the chat on the TV. I think my husband watches live streams on the television. I don't. I'm at the computer when I want to watch a live stream. There's something that you can click that will bring the chat onto the TV, but I can't for the life of me think of what it is. Click around. There's an option there somewhere that'll bring the chat up on the TV. Does anybody know what it's called? But you can't type into the chat. You're still gonna have to have your phone there to type in. not very techie like that, but I do want to know more so I don't sit here with a blurry screen when I've got my glass on. Yeah. And also just understanding that sometimes it's not your internet, because I'm all for cursing out the internet, internet providers are the devil. But sometimes it's not their fault. Sometimes it's YouTube making decisions for you. Like YouTube, I never want to watch at that rate, ever. I'd rather be told that, sorry, your internet's too slow to watch this thing than have them downgrade it like that. Russell has a switch so he can switch between his internet providers in a few seconds. Oh, that's helpful. That's useful. And this is the thing, like if your business is on the internet, you have to come up with alternatives and having a viable alternative so that if something happens with your internet, you've got an option to change it, because you don't want to be like, oh, Telstra's down, therefore I have no internet at all. Sorry. When your entire livelihood is based on the internet, you have to have an alternative. So my mobile phone is with my mobile phone is with Telstra, but my internet is my home internet is not. So they use different networks, but I mean it's still the NBN network versus the wireless network, but they get similar speeds. Technically, my phone gets a much faster, because it's a 5G phone. It gets a faster download speed, but its upload is still capped. But for many months when I was out in the shack, all of the streams were run from the data on my phone. So it totally works. Now it's the backup. I can't figure out how to bring the chat up on my TV, so I watch the lives on my phone. I use a Google Chromecast on my TV, if that makes any difference. It will make a difference if you're using the television's Google app versus a Chromecast. That will totally make a difference. But I'm going to have to look at it. But we've got a Sony Bravia that uses the YouTube app, but we also have an Android TV, but that still uses a YouTube app. It's just a different version of the app. I can't think of it, but I thought that I could be wrong, but I thought there was a button, like an option in the TV that you could have the chat on the side. You still can't type into the chat on your TV. You have to have an alternate device for that. But at least the screen could be on the TV and you could be reading it from the TV. Anyway, I definitely have to look into it. But for right now, it's dice roll time.
It's dice roll time. Roll the dice to choose the next colour.
So into the chat, what colour are we going to choose next? And then we'll roll the dice and let the dice actually decide. But you can tell me what colour you want next. I'm going to sit back and drink some coffee for a sec. I know not everybody is techie, and not everybody wants to learn about the tech, and I understand that. But if you are wanting to get your best experience out of YouTube, sometimes learning how to do some of these things, even just a little bit, will help make things just a bit better. So if you ever have questions that I may be able to help, just drop them here in the live chat or over in the fun zone. Make a post over in the fun zone. I may not be able to help, but if I can help or somebody else in the group can, we're going to try and make this experience better for you. Okay, so what have we got? Somebody wants anemone, green, yellow, some green would be. Look, I agree. I think we're overdue for some green. That's the last green there. And then the green before that is all the way down here. So sorry, it's not even on the screen. There you go. That was the gap between the last two greens. I don't want a gap that big again. Yeah, I think some green or some yellow would look nice. Okay, so let's have we're going to roll the dice here, and we'll see how we go. Oh yeah, my TV sometimes randomly goes, "Oh, you're not connected," and I'm like, "Really? I'm not, because I'm watching a streaming service right now and you haven't stopped it. Lies. Okay. We have 3. Oh, did you not listen? I wanted green or yellow. God. Back to the purple. All of you that love purple. I bought a whole nother ball of purple because, like, the purple just keeps appearing. The purple looks beautiful with the pink. I'm not going to deny it. I'm not going to deny it at all. And I like purple. Purple's fine. I just would have liked a different colour, is all. Stupid dice. Whose idea was it to have the dice control the colours? Like, seriously. Oh, there's a hook up my sleeve. Like, seriously. Whose idea was that? Like, it was a dumb idea. It was a dumb idea. Purple. Oh, I'd already cut the yarn. The yarn was already cut. Because I'd done the row of pink on top of it. So it was already cut. Francis says if it was me, I would have just done green anyway. Oh, yeah, just throw me under the bus, Lisby. It was my dumb idea. Yes, I'm aware. It was my dumb idea. I thought it would be fun. It'll be fun, she said. It'll be random. But in the case of true randomality, sometimes you end up with the same number twice. Or 3 times as it's happened. I think we had purple. Let me have a look here. There was 1 there, 2 there, 2 there. I know. Maybe we haven't had 3 of anyone. I thought we had 3. 2, 2. We've had 2s, but no 3s. I'm just double checking. Two, 2, 2, 2, 2. But those ones are quite close together. But yeah, we've had 2s but no 3s. Yeah, I thought we'd had a 3 of purple too. I'm convinced we've had a 3 of purple. There's a purple there, a purple there. Yeah, we mustn't have. But I thought, for some reason, I was looking for a 3 of purple. I thought we'd had a 3 of purple. Doesn't mean that I would like a 3 of purple now, dice. I'm just saying. Yeah. For some reason, I thought we really did. I really thought we had. I think we had 2 purples and then an 8, and I was convinced that you guys were going to vote for the purple again, but then we didn't. They voted for something else. Because normally when we vote, we usually get purple. Usually. Not always. Goodness me. How's everybody's projects going? Are they doing okay? I know we've been a bit slow with the colours on this, so if you've been waiting for my dice rolls, I'm so sorry. But I just was too sick to stream. And then last week, I barely made it through the stream. I ended up sleeping for 5 hours after the stream last week because it was too much. I probably shouldn't have done it, but I really wanted to. Saturday stream, I was okay, but it's different. I don't talk as much in the Saturday streams as I do during the Thursday streams because we have our music. I don't need to talk to fill the dead air space. But yeah. I've had to rip back a couple of rows. Oh no, I'm sorry, Bianca. That is the worst. That is not awesome. I have to get my sewing machine to a sewing machine repairer. But I've realised it's been a year or thereabouts. And I still haven't taken it. I'm like, it's probably one of those things I'm going to pull it out and it's just going to work. And, I had that embarrassing thing at a sewing retreat where I turned up with my sewing machine and it just didn't work. It starts and everything, but there's a problem with the tension. Could not get the tension to work properly. So I'm just like, oh my gosh, let's just give it a year off and then see if it works. So Game with is like, I've got a new one. Look, you know what? If I went out and bought another sewing machine, I'd still want to get this one repaired if it, it wasn't going to cost the earth. But I would love just a sewing machine for straight stitching, like a heavy duty machine for making bags, because I love sewing bags so much. I really do. And I would love a machine that was just a solid straight stitch machine with some good controls for stitch lengths and things like that, but just straight stitching. That's what I would love. And get this one fixed for when I'm doing like applique and other kinds of sewing where I want zigzag stitches and where I want all my fancy stitches. But use this other one. And because I think that's part of the problem. I've been using my quilting machine for making bags. And I think that it's just gone, dude, enough with the layers. Like that was 11 layers, including 2 of leather. Like seriously. So I can kind of understand why it's like, I hate you. I'm not working anymore. I'm having a holiday. So yeah, I get it. I'm making it do things it's probably not supposed to do. Whoops. Although quilting machines, they can cope with some layers. It's kind of what they're meant for. But maybe not the layers I've been giving it. So maybe I could just get it fixed and save up and buy a heavy duty straight foot. But not this week. Sorry. I'll have to do the walk of shame to the machine mechanic with my old one. They'll judge me for the screwdriver thing I've dropped into the body. They're not going to judge you for it. You just tell them, look, I was trying to do something and the screwdriver fell in and I can't get it out. Can you get it out, please? I don't know what they're looking for then. Once I'm finished with my squares, I want to pull the sewing machine down and make patchwork skirts for my daughter and my goddaughter. That sounds fun. I love the idea of some patchwork skirts. They sound lovely. I've got some things I want to make, but I'm kind of like, I'm in this fluctuating weight state where the dietitian and the exercise physiologist, it's all working and it's doing great. And I'm starting to notice that my clothes are fitting a little looser in some areas, and some tops that I wasn't able to wear, I can wear now, like this one, and things like that, where I'm just like things are just fitting better. So I'm like more content with that sort of stuff. So I'm like, but what if I make myself something and then in 6 months I can't even wear it because I've lost more weight again? And it's just like, but then you've got something to wear for 6 months. Like, because that's where I'm getting to now. Some of my clothes, I'm in this in-betweeny of my clothes sizes, where some of my t-shirts are getting too baggy, whereas the shirts that I've replaced those with are still about half a size to a size too small. So, yeah, I'm just like, frustration stations. Should I just wait a bit longer? I mean, it's not like my sewing machine's working, honestly. Like, it's a total non-problem. Let's just invent a problem. It's not like I really want to go out and sew myself up a skirt. Like, even if my sewing machine was working, I probably still wouldn't make a skirt right now. I got other things I've got to get done first. I have an idea for a grow with me skirt for them that they'll be able to wear for years. Oh, I love that idea. That's great. I've been seeing some really clever takes on the 18th century dresses where the skirts are designed to it doesn't matter if your weight fluctuates because of how the skirt is attached to your body. You can, go bigger and smaller. I mean, obviously the length is going to be an issue with children that are still growing, but, you could start it with a nice full long skirt that as they grow taller, it still looks lovely as like an ankle length, as a calf length, as a knee length. And as long as they've got enough space in the wrapping, they can keep wearing it. Oh my gosh. I inherited a machine. The first time I used it, smoke came out. I took it to the guy and asked, was it worth repairing? He says $300 to fix it, but to get as good a machine now, it costs thousands. I have an old Walton's machine down here. I've got to open it up. The machine itself weighs 20 kilos. It is made of metal. And the last time I had it serviced, the guy was just like, this is totally worth servicing. Like, this, and I just realized, like, literally when you was talking about that old machine, I'm like, I wonder if this guy could do the straight sewing I want done. He's a beast. So I'll have to have a look into that. But I haven't opened that one in even longer years. I'd lent it to my mum for a few years, and she gave it back. So because she was making curtains, so she finished her curtains and she's given it back. And I've just tucked it under the desk. It's just sitting under the desk. I don't even know if its power cords are in there. I really hope they are. Like, I'll check that after the stream. I will double check that machine, because that could mean I could finish a project that I was working on. Like, I was in the middle of making my mum a real cool bag when my machine died. So I could finish that. I've got a whole second machine sitting right here, and it didn't even click. Oh my gosh. Yeah, weighs a ton. I bought like this really lightweight little brother sewing machine I got with rewards points, so it was technically free. And it worked for a few years. And then when I took it in to get serviced, the guy just said to me, okay, so this particular part is broken. I'm like, oh, how much will it cost to repair? And he's gone, honey, this was a $99 sewing machine. You're already spending $100 on the service. I wouldn't spend any other money on this machine. I would save up and buy another machine. And I was just like, yeah, but now it's not going to work and I've still spent $100. He goes, no, I'll make it so it works, but you need to save to buy another machine. This thing's not worth the box it came in. And I was just like, oh, okay. And he was basically, because I'm like, well, I don't know what machines to buy. I just thought, this one was at Spotlight, but then I was able to get it with my rewards points. And he was just like, okay, so basically, unless it's on sale, any machine under about $500 is not worth buying. And I was like, are you kidding? And he goes, no, they're made of plastic. Their parts break and they snap and they wear away. And then the replacement parts are really expensive. It's like, get the machines with the metal bits inside, not the plastic bits inside. I'm like, okay. Yeah, Sal, you're right. At least he was honest. And that's true, because he was pretty honest about the whole thing. But I was just like, it was a bit of a, like, I thought I'd gotten a bargain, hadn't gotten a bargain at all. But I mean, I got like 3 years out of that machine that was basically free. So, it was because I didn't want to take this big heavy one to a sewing, like I enrolled in a sewing class, but you had to take your own machine in every week. And I didn't want to have to lug around this giant thing through a really long car park. So it served its purpose. Well, we have finished a third row of colour. It looks amazing. But if I'm not mistaken, we've run over time. And my throat's getting a little sore from all the talking. So I'm thinking we might call it the end for today. And I will post in the fun zone how this machine goes. Yeah, we have been going for 2 hours. That is true. That is true. I have 3 machines. The basic one I got in 2001. Still great, but basic. The second one with the internal screwdriver. It's a step up and done me well for 7 years. And new and shiny is amazing. See, this is the thing. My big old machine is loud. My new one, way quieter. Well, my newer one, it was secondhand when I bought it. But yeah. So it has been so much fun and so awesome to have you all here hang out with me while we live streamed, and I loved every second of it. Next Thursday we'll be back with more blanket, and then I'm hoping we'll be working on the blanket. Otherwise, we might be working on some finalizing stuff for the retreat. Otherwise, because I try to keep some things secret for the retreat attendees, so I don't want to work on it on Thursday if I can avoid it. You guys all have a fantastic week, and I will catch you all next time, or in the fun zone in the meantime, or on Instagram. You can find me there as well. I'll see you all next time. Bye now.